I'm joined again by Michael Shoebridge from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute. Always good to talk to you, Michael. We've been talking a bit about China lately. Last night with John Howard, who was very frank and open about the fact that Chinese interest, that China has changed in its approach over the past decade, and also that it is deliberately looking to undermine some of what we some of our institutions in this country, some of our own sovereignty in this country.
Well, yes, he's right. And that's what organisations like ASIO have been saying pretty explicitly for a few years now. And we know that foreign interference is the way the Chinese Communist Party structures itself and operates. Just look at how they've been trying to tear into the testimony of Uyghurs who have escaped their camps, and any media outfit or government that listens to the atrocious accounts of treatment by the Chinese state. So working with pro-Beijing voices and confusing domestic debates is a really well-worn tactic from the Chinese state, and we're seeing it in many countries, not just Australia. So John Howard is right.
Now, one of the things we've talked about in the past to reduce our reliance on China economically and otherwise has been the need to build up our relations with other countries, and the big opportunities are seen. One of them is seen as India. There's been a lot of talk about that for a long time, but reports today that India are very eager to sort of pick up on those opportunities too.
Yes, so India, you know, the standard, the conventional wisdom on India is going to be great, but we don't know when, and it'll be some time yet. But I think the combination of Chinese assertiveness and coercion and the pandemic and the shock to supply chains around the world has really accelerated India's role. And India is now, there's a lot more momentum on a whole lot of issues that were stultifyingly slow and bureaucratic. And I think a lot of that's come out of the personal connection between Modi and Morrison. The kind of traditional leaders' summitry we would have seen before the pandemic is grindingly slow and bureaucratic. But with the virtual meetings they've had, they're the ambitious ones pushing momentum down into the government machines. We're seeing that with a much faster negotiation around free trade between India and Australia, for example.
Now, just very briefly, Michael, there's a survey of American voters, and it shows that they're very, very sceptical about the ability of Joe Biden to stand up to Xi Jinping. Are they right?
I think they're right to have doubts, because you look at that survey and there is a bit of a split between Republicans and Democrats on China. They agree it's their most pressing foreign policy issue, but they're mixed about, is China an adversary, a competitor, or a partner? Almost no Americans think China is a partner now. I think it's under 10%. But Democrats think it's about competition, and Republicans think it's more about a strategic adversary. Biden's trying to square that circle by saying it's extreme competition. But I think the doubts around him delivering are, how does he hold America together, given those views?
Yes, extreme competition. It almost sounds like a Chinese term. Thanks for joining us, Michael. I appreciate it.
Good. Thanks, Chris.